The Jets, they made 5 picks in the 2025 NFL Draft, but did those moves improve the team? NFL reporter for the New York Post is a man who is giving out draft grades. His name is Ryan Dunleavy. He's got the answers, and he joins me now. Ryan, what's going on?
You can call me Professor Dex.
You know what? Professor Dunleavy is what I should go to. But if people don't like their grades, if teams don't like their grades, if fans don't like their grades, can they come to you and complain? That is the question.
When I was in college, like 20 years ago, there was a website called like
Yes, rate my
ratemyprofessor.com.
professor.
I picked my classes off of that. So I'm sure there's ratemysportsreporter.com.
So what we need to happen here is after this video, I need the fans to rate Professor Dunleavy. If you don't like his grades, boo him on Twitter or something. Just do something like that. Maybe that's what you do. Maybe give him an F on Twitter. That's not good. I'm not encouraging you to do so, but I'm just saying. We can rate professors, we should also be able to rate Mr. Dunleavy. We should be able to do that too. But Ryan, let's talk about the grades you gave out for the Jets. You gave the Jets a B for this draft. Why did they get a good but not a great grade for the 2025 draft?
Because I thought they played it safe, which is probably the smart thing to do for a first year regime. But like right off the bat to go offensive line when the team desperately needs more pass catchers, like offensive line can be, especially at the top of the draft, is probably one of the safer positions you can go. And I get what they're trying to do: set a tone, be a physical, nasty team, build one of the best offensive lines in the NFL, cost controlled because they're young. I like it if it works out. I just thought this team really needed they struggle to get in the end zone for a decade now. I would bet that they have the fewest touchdowns in the NFL over the last 10 years. So I wanted a Tyler Warren or a Colston Loveland or a Tet McMillan, uh somebody to complement Garrett Wilson, and when things to break down for Justin Fields can make a play out of nothing because the Jets just don't have enough of that.
Yeah, they don't have enough of it. And then the other thing, too, Ryan, is you know this in the history of the Jets, they just really have never had that playmaking kind of tight end. And so they go with Armand Membu, beef up the offensive line. I understand you want to protect the quarterback. They do that at number 7. But there was a good amount of the fan base that wanted Penn State tight end Tyler Warren to be taken with that 7th pick. So you think they made the wrong move here going O-line over the playmaking tight end at 7, correct?
I just think they made the safe move. I don't know if it was wrong. I mean, like, it's 6 to 1, half dozen the other. Here's why I think it was wrong. And this isn't Darren Muji's fault or Aaron Glenn's fault. It's just that they did the same thing last year. And it was different leadership, and you can't make your decisions off last year. But like, we know Robert Saleh and Joe Douglas wouldn't have done this because they did it last year. They picked Olu Fashanu over Brock Bowers, and Brock Bowers had a dynamic rookie season. So 1 year later, they would have gone with the tight end faced with the exact same situation, right? So like, am I gonna blame them because like who knows? This regime might have taken Brock Bowers last year and then needed Membu. So like, the franchise as a whole did the same thing 2 years in a row. They went offensive tackle over playmaker. Don't love that. But I do like Mason Taylor, the second round pick. I have heard people tell me he was going to be a late first round pick, that he's much better than the stats he put up at LSU, where he was playing with dominant wide receivers. It wasn't a tight end friendly offense. But if you watch the films, he got a lot of the third down targets or a lot of the red zone targets. Like, he was trusted in clutch situations. So maybe that translates. There's a thing where Georgia defensive linemen become better in the NFL than they were in college because of the rotation and the players around them. So maybe that happens with an LSU tight end.
All right, we'll see if that happens there. Now, the Jets, they did address their need at wideout. They selected Arian Smith from Georgia in the 4th round. But I think there's some bit of wondering here. Did Gang Green wait too long, Ryan, to upgrade their receiving core here in the 4th round where they finally target a receiver there?
Yes and no. Like, I don't even think they waited too long. Yeah, they could have picked one in the 3rd round. They probably should have. That's a bigger need for them than cornerback. But I really like the Azareye'h Thomas pick. Like, in a cornerback class filled with guys who were coming off serious injuries, Thomas is clean. Like, he plays at pretty much every game every year. So like, I like that about him. I think he got overlooked because Florida State was so hideous last year that nobody like they weren't on TV. People weren't watching them. You didn't go to their games, but he was a pretty good prospect. He could have been a 2nd round prospect. But you could have taken a receiver there. But it's not even that. Even in the 4th round, they picked Arian Smith over like Jalen Royals, I think, who had a 15 touchdown season at Utah State, over some other guy. Eric from Stanford, the wide receiver, azareye'h. I'm not going to try to pronounce his last name. Some guys that I thought were better prospects than Arian Smith, who in his first 4 years at Georgia never got to 10 catches or 200 yards in any of them, and then exploded last year. That always worries me a little bit. Is like, well, he was the oldest guy in the field, so was he picking on young guys in the SEC? I don't know. Like, he seemed like more of a special team pick than a impact receiver.
All right, it'll be interesting to see because, as Ryan mentioned, the Jets do need some more playmaking to help out their offense. The last thing for me, Ryan, I asked you this when we did the Giants video. Who's the player that the Jets selected that you're most excited to see on the field this year and why?
Probably Taylor, because with all due respect to Membu, I'm not watching the right tackle on every single play of a game. I don't know what Thomas's role is if Brandon Stevens, Sauce Gardner, and Michael Carter too are all healthy. I don't know how much Thomas will be on the field. So yeah, I would say probably Mason Taylor to see what he is. And it's just a cool story too, right? Like his dad was a Jet for 1 year, a Jet killer for 13 years. There's a picture going around of a young Mason Taylor with a Jets hat on. So like, yeah, I think it's pretty cool that he'll be on the Jets. I think it's a chance for him to really, if he can work the middle of the field and be a safety blanket for Justin Fields, then he could really open some things up for Garrett Wilson. So yeah, probably Mason Taylor to see what the Jets got at the tight end position because their tight end draft record history is pretty poor, and that's not on Muji and Glenn, but it'd be nice to see the Jets actually get that position right for a change.
Would be nice to see them get that right. We'll see what happens with the 2025 season. We'll also see if Ryan Dunleavy, our NFL reporter here for the Post, if he got things right. Ryan, real quick before we go, what grade would you give yourself for the grades that you handed out for all the teams here? What grade would you give yourself as a professor? I want you to rate yourself as a professor.
It's easy. Today, I'll give myself an A, right? I believe in everything I wrote. I'll give myself an A.
That was the only answer, sir. If you did anything else, I'd be like, man, you got to believe in what you wrote. You got to stand behind what you wrote. I agree with you. You got to go with the A.
The problem is my 2022 graphic grades probably get a D by now. So like we'll see. Hopefully I hit a better average this year.
And to be fair, you never know how all these drafts. You need a couple of years to see how all these things play out, right? So you got some time. You got some time. I think you'll be a Professor Dunleavy for a little bit longer. You got some time there, so you'll be okay. Ryan, we appreciate the breakdown and the time. Thank you, my friend.
Class dismissed.